You're my favorite nighttime tea.
All right, we are live.
You're there for me.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Experience the People podcast, where we talk about the latest trends, topics, and interesting people. And my guest tonight is Adero Munford, affectionately known as Lady A. She is the first lady of Mount Calvary Baptist Church. Let me stop the music and we're going to jump right into it. Lady A, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be with us. But let me give you a little background information on this wonderful lady. First Lady Munford is a Gainesville, Florida native, born to a Kenyan father and an American mother. She spent her entire childhood and early adult life in Florida before marrying and moving to Winston-Salem, North Carolina. She has been married to Pastor Nathan Munford IV for 10 years and has 3 beautiful children. She also has a master's degree in business administration and works in healthcare. She serves alongside her husband at Mount Calvary Holy Church of Winston-Salem and has recently obtained her minister's license. Yay. And the crowd goes crazy. She enjoys coaching and encouraging women to live their best lives and become their best selves. Lady A, thank you so much for taking time out of your day, because I know you're a busy woman.
Oh, yeah. But I appreciate you for inviting me on. I've been watching.
Oh, it's my pleasure. My pleasure. We're going to jump right into this interview. I've got some great questions, and we're looking forward to hearing what you have to say. But we're going to be talking about, let me change my camera view. So it looks like instead of looking to the side, I can look right at you.
Oh, cool.
So my very first question is, can you share how you met your husband and your initial reaction to his calling to the ministry?
Sure. So Pastor Nathan and I, we met in an unconventional way. We actually met online, and this was back in, 2012. He remembers years and dates better than I do, but it was back in 2012. It was unconventional back then to meet people online. It was different for me. A friend encouraged me, and funny enough, I learned later on that a friend encouraged him to just get online. We were both busy working single individuals at the time. So we met on a dating site. We would travel back and forth for about a year before we realized that lifestyle was expensive and we either needed to make a decision or move on. Right. So he made a decision. He popped the question on my birthday a year after we met, and the rest is history. 6 months planning of a wedding, and here I am.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Funny thing, my wife and I, we met exactly the same way. We met online initially.
Nice.
And, we dated for a while, and then we parted ways. And I think it was 17 years before we reconnected on Facebook.
Oh, wow. It was meant to be. You came
I believe it. I believe that 100%. So tell me, how did you feel when you first realized you would be a pastor's wife?
Oh, I was like, are you sure? To him, are you sure you want to do this? So, back to your other question, how I felt about his call. I knew he was a minister while dating. I knew in the back of my mind, like the way, way, way back, that this could be, something that would happen later on down the line. But I thought maybe, the Lord would allow it to happen once my children were grown and, I had more time and more hands, but it didn't happen like that. So, it happened, and, I'm used to it now, and I'm grateful for the call. I found my footing in it, and God has just been very just shined his favor on our lives and ministry and all of that. But I'll admit it took some getting used to, especially going into it with a big family, 3 littles, no family around. It definitely helped that we were a part of the ministry before he became senior pastor. I believe that gave us a lot of grace And it just really helped with that transition with him becoming senior pastor, since we had been there many years prior.
Right. So tell me, how do you define your role as a pastor's wife?
So my role, I find that it's something that's still being uncovered for me. My first ministry will always be my home. I will always prioritize being his helpmeet and assisting him wherever he might need me in ministry. However, I even before he became a pastor and I a pastor's wife, I always had a passion just to really fellowship with other women and allow their experiences to help me and my experiences to help them. So I also find that now my part of my role that I'm kind of finding out about in the recent season is that I can be the female voice in the house. Because sometimes, like Pastor will say, I can reach the people sometimes, though the people need a female voice, and other voices. And so I'm finding, and that has a lot to do with my call as well to ministry. The Lord, He allowed me to find, my call and touch me in my life to be able to be walk into my ministerial calling. But I'm finding out, I feel like layer by layer, He's uncovering kind of what He has for me within all of this.
Right, right. So, what are some of the biggest challenges you face, and how do you manage the pressures and expectations that are placed on you as a pastor's wife?
Um, I'll say first, I'm truly favored and I'm truly honored to serve. I love to serve the people. I'm one of those people. I grew up in the church ever since I was little, so church is not new for me. I've ushered, I've taught Sunday school. I've done it all. Vacation Bible school. My mom was a Sunday school teacher. So serving is definitely not foreign to me. So coming into this, the challenges that I had, it wasn't expectations that I placed on myself, because I'm one that will do anything that I need to do. Wherever I see a need, I will try to fill that need. Um, I would say that time management has been one of the biggest hurdles for me, with trying to balance the family and balance motherhood and balance being a wife. And I also work as well. So really just the time management. And I probably put more pressure on myself than others put on me, because I really want to try to keep up with everything that's going on and try to show up at all the different services and anything that's going on. But one thing that I've realized recently is that you can't do it all. You can't do it all. You have to be able and be willing to accept help, and be okay with not being able to do it all. So I would say that as far as with the pressure hasn't really been from people. It's really been me on my pressuring myself to try to do it all. But I'm learning to be okay
You
with not.
sound like you're kind of a perfectionist of sorts.
Yeah. Yep. I am, but I'm learning that sometimes you can't do it all. You can't be perfect. And that's okay. And that's okay. There's a season for everything, to prioritize different things in life, and I'm giving myself grace.
Okay.
I've been given grace,
So,
but I have to give it to myself.
what strategies do you use to maintain your own spiritual and emotional health?
Um, Definitely a lot of quiet time. My house is normally not that quiet. It's actually really not
I
quiet
bet.
even right
True,
now. I'm
true.
sure you guys probably don't hear anything, but it's never really quiet. But one of the things that I've started doing is trying to get up earlier if I can. I try to get up earlier. I am actually a night owl, so that's a struggle for me. But sometimes if I even stay up a little bit later, I can maintain and I can take advantage of, I can maintain my schedule and different things that I want to do throughout the day, but I can also take advantage of that quiet time to get things done. I am a big planner. I have calendars everywhere. I have calendars on my phone. I have calendars at work. I have calendar on my wall. If it's not on the calendar, it does not exist.
I understand.
I do not care what it is if it's not on the calendar. So definitely that's helped me with time management, and also prioritizing things as needed, and learning to say no to different things that might not be priority in that time.
And I wish you could teach my wife how to do that. She is one of those people. She doesn't know how to say no sometimes. She's got a giving spirit, and just like you, she's a servant.
I understand my sister.
She's
It's
learning. I
hard.
think she's
It's
learning
hard out here.
the hard way.
I understand.
So, can you share any specific ministries or projects that you're particularly passionate about right now?
Sure. So I wouldn't say it is one of the ministries that I was invited to. And I can't say it's a ministry, but it's more of a group that I'm in. It's called Voice for Her. It is a group of women just like me, millennial women who are in serving alongside their husband in ministry. So it's a group of ministers and pastors' wives. We get together and we fellowship together and we encourage one another to just keep going. And we, let each other know that remind each other that we're all human. We are all people outside of ministry, outside of being a wife or a mother. We encourage each other in that way and really strengthen each other and strengthen the bond. Another ministry that I'm a part of is actually a auxiliary within Mount Calvary Holy Church of America, which is the youth and young adults ministry. We have our Outcry conference every year. So youth ministry is something that I've always kind of been in and out of since I've been a youth myself. So I serve alongside of my husband, Pastor Nathan, and we serve the organization by leading the youth within the organization.
Okay, great. So, in what ways do you feel you make a positive impact on the church community?
What was the last part of that question?
In what ways do you feel you make a positive impact on the church community?
On the church community. Well, I'm like you said in my bio, I'm super passionate about women.
Right.
I'm super passionate about establishing relationships with women, regardless of age, regardless of background, and just really pushing and encouraging people to be their best selves, regardless of where life has them at that point in time. A lot of times it's hard for women to open up because maybe they've been hurt in the past, or maybe, they might be a little fragile, and it's hard to open up when you're in that fragile point. But just through the love of Christ and the love of God, I try to reach people and try to form relationships so that I'm just something I'm very super passionate about, and something that I feel like God has put on my life. Some of the experiences that he's allowed me to go through, I don't think they were just for me. I really feel like they were so I can help other people overcome similar or the same situation. So that's something, I really feel like that's my calling right now in ministry, just trying to reach other women and push other women to live their best lives and be their best selves, and also draw closer to Christ.
Okay. So, my next question is, what have you learned about yourself through this journey as you have been a pastor's wife? Now you have gotten your minister's license. What have you learned about yourself through this journey so far?
Oh wow. I've learned a lot about myself. I really have had to humble myself and really understand, not really understand, but really be okay with not knowing it all, not being perfect, not
Right.
knowing all of the answers. When I graduated from college many, many years ago, until now. I feel like I've been I came in as brand new in healthcare, and now I feel like kind of a healthcare guru. I can tell you about different things, and so I feel like I'm almost, an expert in it. But when it comes to ministry and leading in this on this type of platform in ministry, I feel like I'm in kindergarten again. So, so really just being okay with where I am. I just was licensed as a minister, and I'm really learning. I'm learning from the other ministers that I know, and that I see. I'm learning from my husband, my pastor. So I'm really learning to be okay with not knowing all of the answers, not knowing everything that eventually I will know. Sometimes it's hard starting from ground zero, but you got to start somewhere, right?
So, what do you find the most rewarding thing about being a pastor's wife?
For me, the most rewarding thing is really just being able to share my life and have other people share their life with me. I'm one of those people who I can sit down and people watch, and God has gave me the gift of being I'm a discerner. I'm a feeler. I can feel how other people are feeling. And I can have never met them before, but just by watching people. So I think one of the biggest things that I love is being able to learn about people, learn their story, and be able to impart wisdom that I might have, or just advice or just encouragement on people. So really just being able to be involved in the lives of so many different people that we come across in ministry, either at our church or at other churches that we're connected to. I find that is a privilege, and I definitely don't take it lightly. But that's something that um, I really am starting to learn more about myself in ministry, and kind of what my calling is in the Lord's church.
Okay. Well, since we're talking about that, can you share a memorable or uplifting experience from your time in this role since you've been first lady?
Sure. A lot of our experiences have been all of them have been rewarding, but I think some of my favorite experiences are with our women's ministry at Mount Calvary, Holy Church of Winston-Salem. We always have a great time. We always have great conversation and just kind of a kickback, girls club, girl talk type thing. So, um, hmm, I'm trying to think. Our last pep talk that we had in person was super memorable. We had a panel of women. Your wife was actually on that panel as well, and I could really just feel people being moved by some of the testimonies that were in the room that day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting in the back, and I was just watching people and how they were reacting when they were hearing some of the different things that women had been through, and just knowing some of the stories in the room. I know that some of those testimonies kind of hit home for some other people, like, dang, they went through that too. I went through that as well. And it really just reminded me why we do what we do.
Right.
And some conversations that might be taboo on Sunday morning, when we have our women's pep talk, we lay it all out on the table. Whatever people want to talk about, whatever they find that might be, things they might be carrying, or things they might be struggling with, we lay it out all out. We lay it all out there. And as people continue to come, people continue to get more transparent about those things. And I see, just a newfound friendships and relationships being established through it. So, that particular pep talk was amazing. But all of them are continuing. I just see a trend of them continuing. People continue to foster relationships and a bond and trust that I've never seen before since I have been a part of the ministry. So that really, really warmed my heart that day.
Well, I think that's just a testimony to um, what you and Pastor are doing in this ministry, and your uncompromising commitment to the truth, and really letting people be who they are, and not doing, making these judgments that I know I've experienced in other churches. Especially if you're a new member, people sometimes look at you like something's wrong with you. And Pastor has said it before, that if we're not going to do anything else, we're going to give you some love. And we are genuine. I know I felt that when I first came. My wife expressed the same thing, that but I think it was maybe the second or third time that we had come, we realized, okay, this is a place where we need to be. And I think that's definitely a testimony to Pastor's leadership, and you're helping him in that venture.
Well, thank you.
So
Yeah,
I just
one of
got
the
a couple
things.
more questions.
Okay.
What advice would you give to women who are about to become pastors' wives?
Oh, wow. So I would just say take your time. Take your time learning about what the Lord wants you to do in that season, in this upcoming season of your life. Don't feel like you have to rush in and try to fill in the shoes of anybody that might have been before you. Don't let anyone tell you what you should do or what you should not do. If are not one to, be out in the forefront a lot, that's okay. That's okay. I believe that through our journey in anything, God is going to reveal and give us wisdom and knowledge and understanding of what you're supposed to be doing in any environment that you're walking into. So I would say don't rush into anything. Don't be pressured to join or lead anything, but really take your time and discover who you are and what your footprint should look like in the ministry. And that will save you from a longer season of confusion and stress, unnecessary stress that, is definitely not something you want. Focus on being your husband's wife.
Okay,
Yep.
that's
Start there.
Whether you're a pastor's
Filling
wife
the rest.
or not, I think that's good advice for all wives. Just focus on being the wife.
Focus on being the wife. Yep.
Yeah.
Focus on being your
So,
husband's support and help me.
how can church members best support and encourage their pastor's wife?
I would say just allow the pastor's wife to be herself. And if you see a need, if you see something that might be a need in the ministry, and especially if it's something that whether she's involved in it, especially if she's involved in it, to come to her to, offer help, offer assistance. One of the things that I've realized in this role that I'm in now is, as a pastor's wife, while many of us are not co-pastors, some are, but many of us are not co-pastors, we do have to support our husbands in a way as if we were a co-pastor at home sometimes, not trying to overstep or try to rule or lead in areas that we're not experienced in. But sometimes, just as we in our home, we offer advice to our husbands, sometimes even because we are watchers and because we are seers of the ministry, sometimes we may have to point out things that he may not see. So I would say, for the people, if you can assist in any way with lightening her load, whether it be in a ministry or whether it be if she has children, asking if you can be of assistance. I think that goes a long way. I think people assume that not just the pastor's wife, but people in leadership, the pastor, that they have it all together. They have all the help they need, They look pretty buttoned up. But sometimes you could be buttoned up in front of the people and, behind closed doors, they might be really, struggling in some areas. So I would say just make yourself available and be the person to exercise integrity if they do share something with you that, you know, might just be for you. Really just being that person for anyone. I think that would be good.
Yeah, and I know you touched on briefly, talking about the pressures of being a pastor. I know a lot of pastors. I've got one of my cousins is a pastor of a church, and we talk sometimes, and he talks about how stressful it is and how a lot of times he doesn't have anyone that he can lean on but his wife. But sometimes that's not enough, at times. Not to say that wives are not enough, but, and I've heard that, there are occasions where pastors, they have breakdowns because, like you said before, they're human just like everybody else. You just have a call on your life. And I think some people, think that you got some type of superpower or something, but just a man or a woman.
Just a human. Just a human with a call on their life. And yeah, I think, like you said, a lot of people see that superhuman power in leadership, but it's far from that. It's far from that. Of course, the Lord gives us strength to do and to walk in the call, but you can't do it without the people. The church is nothing with just the pastor and his wife. You need people. There's so many hands and support that's needed to really uphold and support a ministry.
Yeah, exactly. I love that, but
incoming message.
Got an incoming message. You.
Right.
Lady, I appreciate you taking time out of your day. If somebody wants to get in contact with you for anything, whether they are members of the church or not, how would they best do that?
Well, I am on Facebook. I am Adero, listed as Adero Munford on Facebook. I am also on Instagram as well. My Instagram handle is at Dress It Up Mama. Dress It Up MAMA. So those are two social media channels that I use, and I do try to check them as often as I can.
Okay, great.
Or you can come to Mount Calvary Holy Church.
If you found this content interesting, helpful, please like, share, and comment. We're on every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And remember my 3 R's: respect yourself, respect others, and always, always take full responsibility for your actions. We love you, and peace.